The Bible is a living word that reads us as we read it. It's a person, a voice that proves that time is not linear, as one sentence can confirm the past, guide the present, and declare the future. You are here. I am here. He is here. We are here right now. In the tomorrow of yesterday and in the yesterday of tomorrow, I thank you for joining today. So we're back. Thank you so much for joining once again. In our last episode, I gave a quick summary as to how it is that this legend Moses led the people of God, the Israelites, from the land of Egypt all the way to the border of the promised land. And I shared with you some of the things that the Israelites had to deal with in their journey, but the biggest obstacle was not the one before them, it was the one inside of them, because they were stuck in a mindset that there was better behind them, not before them. And so, despite the fact that God had greatness in store for them and wanted to lead them into a land that He had been promising their ancestors for generations, the people, anytime they were faced with discomfort or hunger or challenges and obstacles, they were stuck in wanting to go back into the land of Egypt, despite the fact that Egypt was never intended to be their home. And also, they were slaves. They were slaves. They were abused. They were exploited, but they were more comfortable in what was familiar than they were in exercising and stretching their faith into learning the different aspects and characteristics that God was showing them about Himself. And so we talked about, or I at least alluded to the fact that Moses forfeited his own entry into the promised land. And the Israelites did too, in large part because they sent in some spies to peep out the land. 12 spies went in, 10 of them came back with a negative report, two came back with a positive report. But the negative report planted a seed in the minds of the Israelites so much so that they were afraid to go in and take what God promised them. So God decided, fine, y'all will just wander around for 40 years until this generation dies off. So anyone 20 years or older was restricted from going into the promised land. God was just like, cool, I'm going to just wait until y'all die off. And then I'm going to allow the next generation to be the one to actually go in and reap the benefit of my promise. And so here we have Joshua, who was one of the two who came back with a positive report, and also who was Moses' assistant, his protege. So he walked with Moses. He had access to places that the rest of the population did not have because he was an assistant to Moses. He was his right hand man in many ways. And so Moses passed the torch on to Joshua. So now Joshua has this huge responsibility to lead the Israelite people, the next generation, right? To lead them into the land that God promised across the Jordan River. And God spoke to Joshua and told him multiple times starting off in his journey, be strong and courageous, because those were things that were very much going to be required of Joshua in this feat, in this assignment. So, of all the 12 tribes of Israel, there were two and a half, Reuben, Gad, and half of the tribe of Manasseh, that decided that they actually wanted the land that was on the east side of the Jordan, because they realized, yo, this land over here is actually really nice. I think this is very suitable for our family, for our livestock, for like, we want to just kind of chill out right here. And so this was still during the time of Moses that they made that decision. And Moses was like, y'all trifling. If you think you're about to just chill right here while the rest of your family, while the rest of the tribe goes and has to fight for their land, you're not just going to take it because it's easy. And Reuben, Gad, and half the tribe of Manasseh were like, nah, that's not even what we're doing. We're down for the fight, but we want to put our stake in the ground right here, and this will be our land over here on the east side of the Jordan. And Reuben, Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh promised Moses that when it's time for us to go fight, we down, we're gonna fight with you. And now it's time to go on the other side of the Jordan and fight. And so Joshua reminded Reuben, Gad, and half the tribe of Manasseh of their promise. And they're like, it's cool. Our family is good. Our possessions are good. We have like home is over here, but we're gonna come on the other side with you and make sure that the rest of you all are good too. So prior to going on the opposite side of the Jordan, Joshua sent two spies to scout out the land, and especially the land of Jericho. So two of these spies go in to survey the land, just kind of see how the people move, what's going on, where there are enforcements and where there are weak spots and things like that, so that they could enter in with strategy. Just because God gives us promise doesn't mean that it doesn't require strategy. And so the spies went in and they ended up staying the night at this woman Rahab's house. And Rahab was a prostitute. And it's very interesting because it wasn't uncommon for strange men to go into the house of a prostitute. So they decided, yo, we're gonna kick it right here for the night. And while they were there was someone who went and snitched to the king of Jericho. I saw these two dudes, they look like spies. Like, I know they've been out here spying. And I saw these guys, they went into Rahab's house. So the king sent orders to Rahab and said, you need to bring them here. Like those guys who were in your house, those two dudes, they spies, they came to peep out the land, and you need to bring them here. And Rahab, before the king's men made it to her, she hid the two men on the rooftop. And so when the king's men came and were talking to her, she's like, oh, they were here. I know exactly who you talking about, but I ain't know they were spies. And I don't know where they went or nothing, but I know that they left. And I mean, if you move quickly enough, if you hurry, you just might be able to catch them. So the king's men went running after the spies, and because of course Rahab was untruthful, she pointed them in the wrong direction because they were clearly on her roof. But when the king's men left and they're seeking these spies, so Rahab went on the roof and she talked to the spies. She let them know, listen, I sent them king's men away. Like, you don't even have to worry about them. But I want you to know, like, I know the Lord has given you this land. And we all over here living scared because we've heard about your guys' track record. And we know what y'all did to the Amorite king. No one has it in them to fight y'all because we know that your God is the supreme God. And so I just want, like, how I just hit y'all and everything and like I had your back? Like, when y'all come back, all I'm asking is that you have my back too. And you just make sure that me and mine, that we good. Cause I showed y'all kindness. I could have told on y'all and y'all would be in big trouble. But, I know what's up. So just, remember me. And the spies were like, "Bet, we got you. You were absolutely right. You didn't have to have our back, but thank you. And we'll make sure that you and your family are good." So it just so happened that Rahab, her house was built into the wall. Like, it was built into the town wall. So rather than the spies having to go out through the gate in order to leave the town, they were actually able to escape through the window. So Rahab let them down by this scarlet red rope. And she gave them some tips about where they needed to go and where they needed to lay low until the king's men returned. And the spies ensured her of her safety. And they gave her instructions like, yo, you need to keep this scarlet rope hanging in this window. And you need to make sure that all your peeps are inside the house. And when we come back, the scarlet rope will be a marker that everybody in this house is to remain untouched. So just leave it in the window. Make sure your people in the house, because if they not in the house, like, you can't hold it against us if something happens to them. And so for them to say, leave the scarlet red rope in the window. When we see the red rope, we will pass over, is really this beautiful musical echoing of what just happened. And so Rahab's like, you don't forget. Now, don't forget. And so the spies went back to Joshua and they reported, yo, the people out there, they terrified of what the Lord has done and has been doing. And it's no secret that God gave us the land. So let's go get it. It was time. It was time for them to walk into their promise and they were ready. So they said, yo, let's go get it. And that's where we'll stop right now. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please leave a message, like, subscribe, share. I want to hear from you. I thank you so much again for your time. I look forward to our next episode if God blesses me with the opportunity to record another one. Until then, bye for now.